We left off yesterday at our word problems involving percent, and with your help we answered these first couple. So let's finish these up. The cost of a book is $30. It's on sale for 10% off, and the tax rate is 6%. What is your final cost? So think about the two things you need to do. You need to find out what the cost of the book is with the discount of 10%. And then once you calculate that, you need to find the amount of tax to add on to get your final cost. We have three ways that we can solve this. Mental math, because it's a multiple of 10%, it's actually 10% for the first part. We could set up a proportion or a percent equation. Once we're done, we need to be sure that we have not the discount but the sale price, and then take that amount and multiply it by the tax rate of 6%. Convert it to a decimal and multiply. Final step, add the two together. We'll check your results in class. In our next problem, you earn $210 in 40 hours. At this rate, how much do you earn in 55 hours? Now this is just a word problem, it's not a percent problem. So go ahead once again and figure this one out. We move on to the next problem, which is an interest problem, simple interest. You invest $25,000 in a money market account. You earn 2 5/10% interest, and you'll invest that money for 5 years. Your formula, just to help you out, is interest equals principal times rate times time. So you're calculating interest, and that's our goal, is to find the interest. We already know the principal is $25,000. We're going to be multiplying that by the interest. Now, 2 5/10% convert to a decimal. We talked about this last time. Move your decimal over 2 places. So remember to convert this. And then your time is in years, which is 5 years. Again, multiply out to get your interest. Here's a commission problem. We talked briefly about commission being the amount of money you earn based on sales. Well, you're sold a total of $3,200 worth of merchandise. What is your commission if you get a 6% commission? So this one doesn't require any adding or subtracting. Once you're done, you just simply take this amount of sales times your commission, which is 6%. 6%. Now you can set up a proportion if you like, or so then it would be 6 out of 100 is equal to X out of the total to see what you get. Or you could change this percent to a decimal by dropping the sign and moving your decimal over 2 places and multiplying, and that will give you your commission. I want to talk about a special kind of percent problem now called percent of change. Percent of change says let's find the change of the starting to the ending amount, dividing by the original amount or the base amount, and then multiplying by 100 to get a percent. So we've already worked on some problems where we're finding a part. Here we're finding the percent. So what you do is find the amount of change. It's going from 80 to 88, which means to start off with that this is a percent increase because the numbers are going up. We're going to find the difference, meaning we're going to subtract to find the amount of change. And we always divide by the original amount. So the base number is always the starting amount. You'll go ahead and simplify the top. Now you can set this up once again as a proportion. You will cross multiply, so you'll get 80 times x is equal to 800, and you'll divide by 80, and you'll see that x is equal to 10. And it's 10% because we were calculating percent, and it's a percent increase. Percent change. You went from one thing to another. You started with one amount, ended at another. You'll use the words to, from, or original, or final. All of those words will be used. So let's try one or two more. You're starting at 50 and ending at 15. So that means that this is going to be a percent decrease. In a percent decrease, we're still going to do the following model. We're going to find the amount of change, which means find the difference. And the base is always the original or starting amount. Go ahead and simplify. And then we can set up the proportion. Now, I could do cross products, but you can also notice a shortcut on this because these are equivalent, compatible, I should say, so that I can now say times 2 times 2, and that gives me 70 over 100, and any ratio to 100 is a percent, so that's a 70% decrease. Next problem. My original amount was 20. My final is 16. This is another percent decrease. How do I calculate percent change? I simply take the two numbers and find the amount of change. That means subtract. The base is always the original or starting amount. You'll go ahead and subtract. And again, we can set up that proportion. This is another one that shows a relationship because 20 is compatible with 100, and that's times 5 and times 5, which gives me a 20% decrease. If you don't want to do this method, which again, to me is a bit of a shortcut, you can still do 20 times x is equal to 4 times 100, which is 400. You go ahead and divide by 20, and you'll get 20% once again. Two methods to get to the same end result. So percent change comes in a variety of different ways. You might see that you're looking for a percent, like in this particular question. If the collectible figure or figurine that you purchased for $60 is now only worth $35, which means that it is depreciated in value. Just like when you buy a new car and the second you drive it off the lot, it's no longer worth the ticket price. What is your percent decrease? So again, I'm looking at started at 60 and it went to 35. This once again is a percent decrease. So I'm going to find the amount of change, 60 minus 35. The original or starting amount was 60, that's my base. You go ahead and find the difference. And then you set up your proportion because you're looking for percent, and percent is over 100. Cross, multiply, and find your answer. And we'll check that one in class as well.